It is Sunday, it's October 13th, 2024. You're watching Ben Shatliff on Sunday. I'm Ben Shatliff. Today on the programme on Ben Shatliff on Sunday, we'll look at the latest news which is affecting us around the world. And we'll also be talking about war in Ukraine and in the Middle East. The war in Ukraine has been going on now on a full-scale basis for well over 2.5 years. It's over 10.5 years since the annexation of Crimea. The situation in the Middle East, it's over 12 months now since the Hamas attack on Israel and also the Hezbollah attack on Israel. We've all seen horrible scenes in the Middle East and in Ukraine, where many decent people, their lives have been cut short. Let's take a look at the news stories which are affecting us. We'll go to the ITV News app on this Sunday, October 13th, 2024. And tributes have poured in for Alex Salmond, who has died aged 69 just hours after giving a speech in North Macedonia on Saturday. The former First Minister of Scotland, who led the Scottish National Party between 1990 and 2000, and then again between 2004 and 2014, was a prominent figure in the country's nationalist movement. He resigned from the SNP in 2008 and later formed the pro-independence Alba Party in 2021. Commenting on the news of his passing, the Scottish Labour leader Anas Sarwar said on Saturday, "The sad news of Alex Salmond's passing today will come as a shock to all who knew him in Scotland, across the UK and beyond. Our thoughts are with his family and friends at this difficult time, and on behalf of Scottish Labour, I offer our sincere condolences to all who will be mourning his loss." Meanwhile, Scotland's First Minister John Swinney said he is deeply shocked and saddened at the passing of Alex Salmond. He said he fought fearlessly for Scottish independence. Over many years, Alex made an enormous contribution to political life, not just within Scotland, but across the UK and beyond. Alex worked tirelessly and fought fearlessly for the country that he loved and for her independence. He took the Scottish National Party from the fringes of Scottish politics into government and led Scotland so close to becoming an independent country. DP World, the parent firm of P&O Ferries, will be attending the government's International Investment Summit on Monday, despite reports that a row over calls to boycott its subsidy. P&O Ferries had put a £1 billion investment at risk. There were reports the company had pulled out of the summit when it was expected to announce the investment after Transport Secretary Louise Haigh called for a boycott of P&O. In an interview with ITV News Business and Economics editor Joe Hills on Wednesday, the Department for Business and Trade confirmed on Saturday that DP World will attend the summit. DP World has been contacted for comment. Downing Street has distanced themselves from Ms Haigh after her comment, with the current Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer saying a call for a boycott of the ferry firm was not the view of the government. We're talking of the current Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Again from the ITV News app, it may seem like an age ago, but it has now been 100 days since Keir Starmer won a landslide general election. And that's been 101 days now, because this was yesterday. The Labour leader, in his first speech as Prime Minister on July 5th, repeatedly promised to change the country. He cautioned on the steps of Downing Street that changing the country is not like flicking a switch. but people have been furious about developments since the election, most notably the donations row and his decision to cut winter fuel support for pensioners, which has caused his popularity to plummet. Labour has achieved many of its goals to set itself on its first 100 days, despite negative news making it feel like political wins have been few and far between. You can see more on that on the ITV's news app. Now, not long after Joe Biden dropped out of the race to be the US president in July, social media platforms were full of AI-generated images and conspiracy theories about Kamala Harris. The theories, which were endless, she was falsely accused of sleeping her way to the top and being nothing more than a diversity hire. ITV News has investigated attacks on Harris's race and gender over the last 3 months to understand whether there are now just whether or not they are just an inability of a polarized political spectrum or part of a coordinated campaign. You can read more on that, as I say, on the ITV News app. 40 countries with soldiers serving as UN peacekeepers in Lebanon said they strongly condemn recent attacks on peacekeepers in a joint statement released on Saturday. The statement was posted on X by Poland's mission to the UN after the United Nations interim force in Lebanon, UNIFIL, reported a fifth member of the peacekeeping force was injured in South Lebanon on Friday. Yesterday also marked 40 years since the bombing in Brighton at the Grand Hotel, where the then Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher was very lucky and fortunate not to even be slightly injured. People were killed, including an MP and also the wife of the late Norman Tebbit. His wife was very serious. She was left paralysed. Many people were injured, and it changed the way that political conferences happened because there was not the security that there now is. We are a world which is more dangerous now than ever before. I remember back in 2016 saying on social media about the world was more dangerous now than what it ever was before, and I was condemned by somebody saying about what life was like here in the 1980s. Growing up in the United Kingdom, we know that there was the IRA terrorist attack, which was the bombing in Brighton. We also know that there have been other IRA attacks here in Manchester, and of course other parts of the country as well, plus of course the infamous and the skilling on Remembrance Sunday in 1987. There have been so many, but with the various different things which have happened over recent years and different bombings and all kinds of different things, I was saying then that the world was a very, very dangerous place. I think it's safe to say that sadly the world is even more of a dangerous place as we are now in 2024. I'm also aware of the fact as well that we do have a lot of younger viewers which very kindly tune in to Ben Shatliff on Sunday, so I don't want to be looking like I'm trying to cause any fear or anything like that, but what I'm saying is in the news anyway. We know what's been happening in the Middle East. We know that Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th last year. We know then that Hezbollah attacked Israel on October 8th, 2023 as well. And understandably, when terrorists attack somebody, then somebody will do something about it, just like what happened after the September the 11th tragedy in 2001. There was then the war on terror. There's also been war on Iraq and various different things against various stuff. And over the years, there's been all kinds of other stuff as well. But we also know as well at the same time that not everybody may be a complete supporter of a terrorist group in that particular country. And there were some disturbing, horrible scenes that they showed you from Gaza yesterday on ITV News, in which there was a young boy carrying his younger brother who'd been killed. And he himself said on that report, why did Hamas have to do this, which then triggered everything else. This is what happens during all kinds of various different tragedies which do happen in our world, not just today but also in the past as well. And there's also tragedy which is happening on a daily basis in Ukraine, which Russia inflicts on Ukraine, where ordinary civilians are taken apart by either Russian bombs or all kinds of different things. When Ukraine tries to strike on Russia, they don't go for any ordinary innocent civilians. They go for the Russian targets, which is completely understandable. And at the end of December, during the octave of Christmas, there is a feast day in the Christian calendar, in the Catholic calendar in particular, which is the feast day of the Holy Innocents. I'm not taking any view in relation to what is happening in the Middle East, not publicly anyway. I don't do, because it's so contentious whichever way you look at the situation. Obviously, I do take a specific view for supporting Ukraine without any shadow of a doubt whatsoever. But in regards to what is happening in the Middle East, it is absolutely tragic on both sides when you see innocent people who are caught up in these tragedies. And it's often been said about why do these leaders not get together to try and sort these things out and to try and look into things. I say about peace, stability and freedom for the people of Ukraine, and I hope of extending that by saying we need to have global peace in our world. We need these terrorist organisations and these horrible people, these dictators like Putin. They need to be brought down once and for all so that the world can be at peace. And these organisations then that like to inflict terror upon our world also need to be stopped once and for all, so that we can have a strive for peace. I remember back in 2019 saying special prayers about let's have a world where there's no arguing, there's no trouble, and the only thing that people have a slight disagreement about is trying to do the best for it, where everybody is all at peace. And then sadly, not long after, we ended up with the pandemic. And I very often say about how for those few weeks in March, April 2020, here in the UK, and it would have been the same around the rest of the world as well, where just for those first 2 or 3 weeks, people looked out for one another. People were being harmonious, being nice to one another. There was that little bit of goodness. I remember walking to the supermarket and I thought to myself, right, I won't bother pressing the buttons across the road because all the roads were nice and quiet. And I was thinking about appreciate. I thought, let's save that little bit of something there for someone else that might need to press that. Let's save that energy in there. But then another time when I was walking back from Tesco, which is near to where I live, we're not just working on product placement rule in there, but anyway, never mind. But what I was going to say is, when I was walking back from a supermarket, I was thinking about the fact of appreciating what God has given us on this earth. And then 2 years later, Russia invaded on a full-scale basis Ukraine. We have all kinds of other tragedies that go on around our world. We are the people of this world. Politicians are there to serve us, not the other way around. So we can all work together to try and strive for peace in our world. We can all do so. we can say prayers, or if you're a non-believer, you can share messages of hope. We can all share messages of hope. We can also say stop wars, in a dignified kind of way, like what we do every Saturday when we have a rally for Ukraine. Not causing any issue to anyone, but making an awareness about what is going on in Ukraine. Out there, it's shooting brightness there from the window. It's a cold but beautiful autumnal Sunday. I'm wearing the autumn colours with this brown jumper. Green is my favourite colour. We should, each and every one of us, be able to enjoy that freedom of being able to, for a walk in the park, or just enjoy those beauties of nature, the beauties of Earth. And unfortunately, not everybody can always enjoy that, even here in the United Kingdom either. The reason why they can't is because of poverty, or a whole variety of various different reasons. And it should not be like that in 2024. Now, next year is the Jubilee year of this millennium. You kind of thought of like a fresh start of different things in 2020 when somebody had COVID. Forget COVID. Forget some of those other things. Let's concentrate on the here and now. Let's look ahead to the Jubilee Millennium Year. And let's try and make that year a year where war ends in Ukraine, if not before. So the peace, freedom, and everything is back to Ukraine as it should be. And let us look then for in the Millennium Year for peace, not just in the Middle East, but across the world. And these politicians, whoever they are, from any political party, but anyone that might be new to running a country. So this message goes out to whoever's going to win in America in a few weeks, and certainly goes out to the ones who run this country. Think about the people who you elect, but also think about the people around our world, and think about peace and doing goodwill to all. Because at the moment, there is the issue regarding the winter fuel allowance. There's the issue about concerts and money, which has been given for different things. Our government says that there is a lot to do to fill in a black hole from the previous government. If you are going to be trying to say that you want to do something, you want to have a political difference from what other political parties have, you want to do things the right way, you want to do things as it should be done, and you're preaching saying they're out a black hole, but also taking money from the poor at the same time as you are taking money yourselves, which is being given to go to concerts or to have a new £2,000 pair of glasses. That is not for the goodwill of the people of the United Kingdom. Now, I'm not mentioning any names because I'm supposed to be politically impartial. I will be politically impartial. But the fact is, when there's going to be tough times for the people of this country, at the same time, there needs to be decisive, clear leadership from whoever to say, we are going to work hard for you to do what is needed for each and every one of the people of this country. And using that same way to strive then for peace and goodwill around the rest of our world. On the evening of November the 5th, I will be hosting a very special programme for the US elections. We know it will either be Kamala Harris or Donald Trump that will win the election. Let's hope it's going to be a clear cut and not something where it drags on for days. I don't want to be up constantly all night and all day for a full week. But I'll be giving you more news about that and promotions as we get nearer to the time. Thank you very, very much indeed for watching Ben Shatliff on Sunday today. I'll be here every Sunday at 12 o'clock. Remember, those special words, peace and goodwill to all. From me and everybody else involved on Ben Shatliff on Sunday, goodbye and thank you for watching. God bless.
My soul is filled with joy as I sing to God my Savior. You have looked upon your servant, you have visited your people, and holy is your name. Through all generations, everlasting is your mercy to the people you have chosen, and holy is your name. I am lowly as a child, but I know from this day forward that my name will be remembered. For all will call me blessed, and holy is your name. Through all generations, everlasting is your mercy to the people you have chosen, and holy is your name. I proclaim the power of God. You do